These direct experiences, which we touched upon also in variety of ways, they require also a tremendous degree of clarity and courage. Because if you are not going to claim what is yours, it's not going to be given on a silver platter either. So there is also this, the desire for liberation is traditionally spoken as the last desire before the liberation can take place, because it has to have that quality.
I had the goddess Bhairavi come, and she was just, all gnarly and just wrathful. And as I continued to meditate, it was that meditation. As I continued to meditate, it just kept getting stronger and stronger. The sounds coming out, and the swirling in the solar plexus and the heart, and it felt like it was just going out and out and out, and the sounds were getting louder and stronger, and I had the thought, I am Bhairavi. And that was a catalyst to something switched. Like you said, there was a flip that switched. And I was inside out, and I was no longer Gail with something moving through my body. I was Bhairavi moving through Gail. And it sounds audacious, and it just sounds audacious. And it continued for the next meditation and the next meditation. And I don't know if I have a question as much as gratitude. And it maybe feels like I finally understand what it means, the Samavesha. Something else. When you were talking today, a lot of questions were answered, a lot of things that you said were answered, and one thing it said is like, what do you really desire? What do you really desire? And it sounds, again, very odd, but I really love it when people touch those raw sadness, grief, those rasas. It's like I get real more wrathful, not in a mean way, but more like a touched way. I just really am appreciative of it. And sometimes it feels, and I know I mentioned this when we were in Mallorca in 2019, but it feels like sometimes like a conductor is conducting it. Like there's something that's moving the waves in the room and the sounds, and so that's all I want to say. Thank you.
wanted to add something else? No?
Yeah, I have something else. So now I do have a question. So during meditation, those 3 meditations yesterday, in the morning, afternoon, and this morning, it feels like there's a witnessing, witnessing what's going on. Just I'm the witness to the whole thing. And the question is, I know it's not stabilized because it just is those short periods of when I'm in meditation. I think I know the answer.
Which is?
Which is, that witnessing needs to be stabilized, and it needs to be all the time before there's witnessing state of consciousness.
This direct experiences, which we touched upon also in variety of ways, they require also a tremendous degree of clarity and courage. Because if you are not going to claim what is yours, it's not going to be given on a silver platter either. So there is also this, the desire for liberation is traditionally spoken as the last desire before the liberation can take place, because it has to have that quality. It has to have that driving force. And the force of tapas has to be so funneled towards that. So these experiences, these direct confirmations, this is important to remain soaked in them, so that by virtue of it can go any way, and certainly either way, wherever the propensity would be. It can be pulled. See? So it requires this fullness of the grasp of that. So it's not just I had experience on that time, during that time, right? And then belongs to moment in time, the day has passed. But this realization is a recognition. And then what we speak of as the process of Samavesha, which means immersion. The closest translation of Samavesha is being immersed. Being immersed. This is why we call these immersions. Immersing. Being immersed. Need to be simply claimed. Claimed not by virtue of claimed when something is just, oh yes, because that's how it's been said or read, but when it's direct experience, when it's cognized, then you claim it. Because the propensity would be to fall back into this sort of like, well, that was experience. So that there is a possibility for it to express itself at any time. So realization can really also take ways of when it requires to be soaked in it, immersing again and again before it can be stabilized. And I wouldn't even worry about stabilizing in witnessing consciousness. Simply because something else is taking place now. And I don't want to confuse you, but I also don't want you to end up with this delineation of sequential unfoldment only. So that you have to first stabilize yourself in witnessing state, so that then it unfolds in and progresses into. Because you had already enough experiences over the years, and some of these have been confirmed, referred back to you, right? We can experience unity directly, very palpably, and even remain there for some time, and then being again pulled into the sphere where the habitual, mundane, something is still perhaps that remnants of ignorance is there. So this is also not at all uncommon. But what I feel it's very important is that, as you're saying, it's audacious, right? Why is it audacious? It's audacious only because you have to express it orally, in a group, in this manner. But if you truly look into it alone, why would that be audacious? Why would that be audacious? Maybe in a moment it feels audacious. So this is what I mean. If it feels audacious, then be audacious. Right? So claim that. It has to be claimed, reclaimed. That's why there's a term, reclaiming one's essence. Reclaiming. There is no way to, it's like thorn is used to remove the thorn. There's no way that, at least from the non-dual point of view, from the point of view of monistic understanding, to tell where it is the grace, where it is personal effort, where it is the desire, where it is the circumstances, where it is none of that. When you ponder on that, clarity becomes, or clarity remains. Everything else just fizzles away. So at some point in meditations it's also observed very clearly. People settle on devotion and on, because that's also a way where the duality is required, where subject and object meant to remain intact, and it almost doesn't want to be disturbed, doesn't want to be shaken. But in that process of being immersed into the body of the goddess, when it is expressing itself through, the only conclusive understanding here is that I welcome you to reflect on, is that ultimately speaking, when this realization directly, by means of cognition, that it is not Gail, but it is the Bhairavi, the goddess, the Devi, moves through Gail, right? Then it simply belongs to some point of reference. But the actuality of experience, there's no reference. There's no reference. So that's where the Samavesha truly takes over. So that what is there dynamically expressed as goddess moving through me, and on the days when they're rainy or when they are cloudy and our perception is slightly dimmed, that will do. We can settle on that. But when it's crystal clear and bright, shining, luminous, then there's no such thing. It moving through consciousness. All this moves in consciousness as your own awareness. And it expresses itself this way. And there are no words for it. It cannot be expressed. This is why I remained quiet for a while before giving it to any language, so that you measure this also, that we cannot speak about it. See? Not that we shouldn't speak about it, not that you shouldn't relate this, but it's impossible to articulate that. Even the reference to this experience in terms of it happened is not correct. You see? So I could have given a very simple answer. It's about time, you know. Just, it's about time. So, very good. Makes me happy too. Thank you.